So we have one item on the agenda, be it ordered that the Recreation Department and the golf course meet with the Recreation Subcommittee to present their plan for 2024. It's pretty much an update at this point since we're so late into the season. So whoever wants to start first we'll use the podium since we're not set up for our meeting tonight.
All right, thanks for having us tonight. As you said, we at the golf course are halfway through the season. Our season typically runs from April 1st through November 30th, or that weekend after Thanksgiving. So being August 1st, we're about halfway through. That being said, our plan every day is to promote the game of golf to the residents, the non-residents, people from outside the area. We want every golfer that comes up that walkway to have a great experience from the first tee all the way till they leave, so they'll come back as returning customers. We do that by ways of daily play. If somebody just wants to come up and play 9 holes or practice by using our driving range in putting green, we have many leagues there. We have 19 leagues, weekday leagues, that consist of between basically 580 and 600 players. These leagues, they are playing as we speak. They typically play Monday through Friday from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. We have a couple of leagues that play in the mornings. We have quite a few clinics. We did a clinic back in the month of May we did a women's clinic where I think it was 62 women that attended that. It was for 3 weeks in May. The City Chamber of Commerce also, they do 2 clinics. We did one in May for them where they had 20 members attend, and have one scheduled for the month of September also. We'll introduce the game of golf to them. A lot of these are new people that are just trying to take up the game. So we'll get them out there, get them out on the course. We do 2 junior golf camps. We did one in July where we have 19 juniors between the ages of 8 and 14. We have one in August. It's already full, same age. We have a St. Stan's school. They do it's basically a learn to play golf type of deal. They start it in late April and they run through basically the end of the school year. They're up there every Tuesday night. So it's for, golf is for all ages. I mean, we're getting golf clubs in kids' hands that are 6, 7, 8 years old, and we have some seniors up there that are in their 90s playing, and everything in between. That's the great thing about the game of golf, and we try to give them a beautiful golf course for it. We think it's one of the best conditioned golf courses in the area. I know a few people looking around this room. There's not a lot of people in here, but I would say about half of them anyway play the game of golf and play Chicopee. And I think they'll agree with me that we give the patrons, the golfers, a great golf course to play at an affordable price. You can't price yourself out of the area courses. So we feel we do a good job with that. Also, another big part of our revenue is the tournaments. We do a lot of golf outings up there. We have 68 events scheduled this year. So far, we've had 39 through the month of July. We got another 29 coming, and there could be more that people could book from now until the end of the year. Some of those events include our local Chamber of Commerce, our Chicopee Boys and Girls Club, St. Stan's School, Chicopee Hockey, our Chicopee Moose Lodge. They have 2 events up there. Portuguese Athletic Club, Tigers Athletic Club. They have a tournament and they hold a league up there, a weekly league with 40 players. Lorraine Soup Kitchen, Friends of the Library, Chicopee Hall of Fame. We have senior tournaments for men and women. And as we spoke of before, and they just played the first week of July, we have 2 junior tournaments. We have the American Junior Golf Association. We had probably over 100 volunteers altogether throughout the week. And a lot of those volunteers were Chicopee residents, and they just love it. The kids love it. The parents love it. These kids are from all over the country. I know, bottom line, they bring in a little bit of revenue to the golf course, but I want you all to know that we got the numbers received back from them because they asked the kids when they check in, where are you staying? Are your parents with you? Where do you eat? So they ask them a lot of questions. And the total economic impact of that tournament, the first week of July, was $382,000. That doesn't go to the city, it doesn't go to the golf course, but it goes to all our area businesses. And we think that's very important that we are promoting golf through the city and not just the bottom line of the golf course. In the 6 years that we've had them, they've dumped over $1.5 million into the city. And they are typically here the week of the 4th of July when a lot of our residents and area people are gone to the beaches. So we take that opportunity to bring some new faces into Chicopee Country Club and show them the golf course. We also have a Western Mass High School Championship there that's going to be in October. And we had a state qualifying tournament there back in June. So we have a lot going on up there. This is a very busy time of the season. Even when there's no events going on, we'll do 200 to 250 rounds of golf on a busy day up there. And that's a lot of people that are entering the golf course and not just coming up once, but returning customers. And that's what we want. We want people to come up there. They're up there to have a good time. They're paying a fee, and we want them to make sure they're all having a good time and that they walk out saying, that was a great golf course. I want to be back. And that's what we're looking to get. And that's how you're going to get, more revenue at the end of the day, at the end of the year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll open up the public input. Is anybody in the audience or on Zoom for a public input? Seeing none, Oh,
Hi, Mary Beth Costello, 66 Foss Avenue. Since this is a recreational committee meeting, we're looking for, some residents have been looking for ideas for recreational involvement with the golf course. Recently, we approved a plan called 2040. Which would take us to 2040 for planning and development. And part of that plan did indicate that the golf course should be used, I believe, in the winter. So today we're looking at trying to come up with ideas to have, besides the golf tournaments, which are wonderful. Also, if there are other ideas, new ideas, to do more recreational activities, maybe even year round. At one meeting, somebody did mention maybe have the ability to use it as some sort of walkway. But I do know that in discussing this with various people, that they're looking at suggesting the new idea of expanding it not only from the golfing aspect to become more inclusive with recreational activities. Thank you.
Anybody else for public input? Okay, make a motion. Get a
Motion to close public input.
Motion second and roll call or all in
Kushein,
favor. We don't need a roll call. Just hands swirling. Yep, so all in favor? Public is closed. I'll open it up to the committee. If you have any questions?
Mike, thank you for the wonderful presentation. You did say that it brought $382,000 of economic development to our economic impact to local businesses. Are all those businesses, and you said you took a survey of where the kids stay and the parents stay and where they eat, were all those businesses in Chicopee, or was it surrounding towns?
It's a lot of it is surrounding towns, but the majority of the stays were, I know, on the Memorial Drive area hotels. Because they asked the kids what hotels they're staying at. As far as the restaurants, I don't know how many travel out of the city. I gotta assume some may, but I would say the brunt of that money is in the city of Chicopee.
Thank you.
Yep.
Everybody else set?
No.
All right, Ben, you wanna?
Have you given any thought to extending throughout the winter?
It's been brought up, it was brought up years ago. I do know our clubhouse is not fit to be open through the winter months. We actually winterize our clubhouse. Basically, in years past, we've had pipes that have froze up there. Going back probably 15 years or so ago, which obviously will damage the clubhouse. It's an older clubhouse. It's as old as the golf course, over 60 years old. So that's one thing that would have to be, seriously considered. I'm thinking if you want a public way out there, obviously, the existing clubhouse we have, it would not be able to be open in the winter months. That was going to be part of the event.
As a golfer and a past commissioner, I just want to give you a kudos as to the shape of the golf course. I mean, everybody loves it. Just keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
So second time.
Second time. Lost my train of thought. The golf maintenance company, do they stay there all winter?
Yes, they are there through the winter. They lay off a good part of their clientele through the winter months, through those 4 months, but in those 4 months, they are up there. I think they have 3 or 4 people full-time. That's when they're sharpening the blades. They're maintaining the equipment. They're getting it ready for the springtime. Because the machinery that they have, that is owned by the city, but they maintain it. They have to make sure that those machines are ready to go full throttle come April, May to mow everything. So they're repainting signs or any kind of maintenance work that they can do. In the winter time, they're up there doing it. They'll do a little bit of, work on the course as far as, maybe taking a little bit of brush down or, stuff that overgrows, but it's mostly maintaining the equipment in the winter time. Yes, they
Are
are
there
there.
walking paths up there?
No, there's no walking paths.
Walking paths.
It's actually fenced off. The entire golf course is fenced off and there's no trespassing signs. The reason for that is you got to pay a fee to go play the game of golf, and with golf balls flying around out there, you don't want people, patrons to be out there walking and getting hit by golf balls right now. So
Oh, I thought someone had told me once that you could go up there and do snowshoeing. Can you do that?
not to my knowledge.
The other side of the fence.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Just a question too. I know that you do like a women's league, a men's league, and a kids. Do you ever do like a family inclusive thing, like just to kind of really pull like a full family together?
So family itself, nothing family wise. We do a couples thing on Friday night. It's called the Nine and Dine, and that's a great way to get new, whether it's a woman or a man, whoever's not playing the game. I know my wife just started taking up the game. So it's a good way to bring, your spouse and introduce them to the game and the golf and not only how to swing a club, but how to behave on a golf course and the rules and etiquette of a golf course. But as far as a full out, a family thing, usually during our junior camp, we will invite the parents. The last day we bring the kids on the golf course and we'll invite the parents out there to kind of walk a few holes with the kids and just kind of see how it is. And we do a little luncheon for them after. So I guess that's one way of getting the family out there.
I just ask because, I do see like on Facebook, you guys post certain events and stuff. I don't see them very often, but maybe that could be utilized a little bit more. But just to really pull families in from Chicopee, because Chicopee is very family orientated.
Great, yeah.
And I think just by utilizing that, and adding maybe some family events could not only open it to, dad, mom, brother, sister, friends, like it just kind of really, I think, could open the doors for more people to be like, oh, it's a family thing, let's go. I think especially with the way Chicopee's going with like our national night out and everything, we're just so family orientated. It would be great to have the golf course kind of just jump on that too. So again, just I think broaden a little bit more of the events.
Oh, very good idea. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you. I'm not sitting here silently, just for the record, by the way, because I'm not interested in the discussion. My uncle has the contract on the concession stand for the golf course, so I try to have as little to do as possible with anything pertaining to the golf course. But as I sit on the committee, of course, I'm going to be here.
So I just have one question, and I've been mulling this idea around for a lot of years, sharing my interest in that. Has you or the commission ever discussed the thought of actually having an actual banquet facility there so that we can run 24/7 or, 12 months a year and actually have high-end, banking, not just golf related, but you'd actually having a place where you could actually do business all year round?
The
'Cause I know
quick answer,
issues you
yes.
have.
Yes, it has been discussed. It was discussed before I was there. I don't know how much serious discussion went into it. I think I've been there for over 10 years. I think there was some serious discussion about it before I got there. Not a whole lot since I've been there, though. I know the first few years I was there, the management company had only been there a year. It was more at that point getting the golf course turned around because the condition of the course was not in the best of shape. When I grew up there 35, 40 years ago, it was always a very well manicured course that had gotten away. So it was more about getting the course there, trying to get the customer back. So now that we're in a very good spot there, that's something that, yeah, that, like I just said, that building is 60 years old. It's
Yeah.
for the little building we have up there, I think that the concessionaires do a great job with it. My shop staff, everybody up there, it's a team. And I said that from day one. It's a team that works up there. It's myself, my staff, the food and beverage, the maintenance company. Everybody works together. That's why it's successful. But I think that's something that seriously needs to be considered. Yes.
Do you have a big enough footprint to expand it to an actual banquet facility? Is it big enough out there?
Not right now. I don't think to take out what's there now and put a new one in, I don't think so. I'm not an architect, so I don't want to answer that question.
Because I'm thinking it's not, unless you have somewhere else to put it,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be cheap, but I think in the long run, it'd pay itself off. Not extremely long
Yep.
time.
Yeah.
So maybe that can be thought about. So you mentioned conditions. How is the conditions? Any issues going with the condition of the course?
No, I honestly don't know how he does it. Our superintendent, Mike Bach, he is second to none. The weather that we've had this summer, the humidity, the high dew points, the dryness. I know how some of our lawns look out there and we're suffering. How to keep a golf course where you have people trampling on it, when you have carts riding all around it. It is in spectacular condition right now. I'd rate it up against any golf course. And I know a lot of you don't know who Mark Calcavecchia is. He is a major champion on the PGA Tour. He played on 4 Ryder Cups. He was in for a wedding 2 weeks ago, drove around our golf course. He said this golf course was impeccable. His first question was, how much does it cost to play here? And he says, if I lived in the area, I'd play every day here at that price. And that's coming from, at his time, one of the best golfers in the world back in the 80s.
So you got his picture and a statement for a poster, right?
I wanted to get him to do it on video and post it, but I didn't want to be that guy.
Oh, you could be that guy. It's part of the job advertising your business. Awesome. I appreciate it.
Thank
All
you.
right. So I think we're all set for you and we can invite the Parks and Rec up to do their part. Oh, you got send one more time, the third time.
My apologies, sir, if I may ask one question.
Sure.
So as to the state of the repairs in the facility, I've heard rumors for a while. What sorts of upgrades need to be done to that to the pro shop and dining area there? I know that building is a little bit on the older side.
We are going to definitely, in the near future, without any type of new clubhouse, we are gonna definitely need a new roof up there, the existing roof. I know I had a leak in my office in early spring. And I know there were a couple other leaks up there over the winter that we got repaired. So that existing roof, I'm guessing it's at least 20 years old. I don't know exactly, but yeah, we're having some roof issues. There's shingles that have blown off. It's an old clubhouse, but that would probably be priority number one without any kind of a new clubhouse coming in.
Thank you.
Yep.
So might I suggest with school starting to reach out to Convoke and maybe have the kids get some experience putting on a new roof?
It's an idea. I know the last time did a project up there. It took them multiple years. I don't know how the program it is now, but it's something I guess that could be looked into.
Yep, shoot an email. That's right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It's all set. We'll have Parks come up and do their part.
Good evening, everyone. This is to give an update on 2024. Similar to Mike, we're halfway through our year here at the Parks Department. We're actually in the middle of our busy summer season right now. We have all of our parks and pools staffed right now. Opie is going on as well. We just had our fireworks 2 weeks ago. After a rain delay back early at the end of June. So that was a great event. We're really pleased with our new firework vendor. We thought it was a terrific show and very thankful for all the sponsors that made that event possible. We're beginning to plan for the fall, prepping fields for high school sports, youth soccer, youth football. We have National Night Out coming up next week, so we have crews directed down at Sarah Jane Park, getting everything ready for that. Our adult softball leagues are just about wrapping up, making up some rain delays going into playoffs right now. So once they wrap up, we'll be able to convert everything over for high school and youth sports for the fall. We're looking to keep our at least one of the pools open until late August, barring what we have for staffing wise. A lot of our staff go back to school the last week of August, so we're gonna try to keep as much lifeguards on as possible to keep that pool open as late as possible. We also have our fall job postings out for soccer referees. We're gonna be posting shortly for basketball referees and scorekeepers as well. Splash pads will continue to run into September, weather permitting. We have all of them open right now, except for Fairview, where they're doing CSO work through that park, and Sarah Jane, where that splash pad is slated to be replaced through community development block grant funds. Going into later into the fall, we do have a couple of events going on throughout Zot. We have Fitness Fest. We have Lorraine Soup Kitchen is having their 35th anniversary event at Sarah Jane. Canes Crusade 5K at Zot. The Chamber 5K will also go through Zot Park as well. And then the City Spectacular event taking place at Zot Park again at the end of October. Once we get through high school season, we go into the winter and everything really slows down for us. Do is similar to like what Mike was saying with the golf course. We take care of all the little things that we can over the winter. Being part of the DPW, we're in charge of snow removal. Close to 13 miles of sidewalks throughout the city, as well as plow routes as well. So we stay busy during the fall and winter, picking up leaves, clearing snow, all that. Looking forward to next year. All of our summer and spring job postings will go out just after the new year. And our youth basketball leagues start games just after New Year's. They begin practice just after Thanksgiving. We'll go through the spring, the winter season as such. We'll have open swim again during the winter at one of the high schools. We were able to get a water safety instructor, so we were able to offer swim lessons this summer. For the first time in a little while, we're hoping to retain her talent and be able to offer them into the fall, also into the winter as well. We do also offer adult basketball and adult volleyball over the winter months as well. Then going back into the spring again, kind of starts up our busy season once again, getting ready all of our diamonds, all of our fields for the spring, putting together all of our buildings, turning on splash pads, all that. We are hoping to be able to open our pools earlier next year. That'll be something one of the things we're working on this year is getting an accurate picture of what it does cost the city to operate our 2 outdoor pools. So we're taking in all of that, and we're gonna make the adjustments as such in our budget so that we can open Rivers and Sarah Jane, or sorry, Rivers and Ray Ash earlier next year. Other than that, it's been busy, just keeping up with everything. The weather has kind of been cooperative, uncooperative all at once, so it's been busy for our crews, just keeping up with everything throughout all the parks. Such. Couple of other side notes. We are working on finalizing concepts for our South Park master plan. We're hoping to have a public input, public meeting sometime in September, once myself and the planning director return. We also submitted a grant application for Sarah Jane Park, where we're hoping to replace the playground there, as well as all the walkways, trying to make ADA improvements throughout that park. And looking at all of our other parks as well, so we can put together a time frame on when we can start replacing playgrounds, and making other upgrades throughout our parks. Many of our playground apparatus are coming up on 20 years old, which is the end of their useful life. So making the updates with the most modern and up-to-date equipment that will last, and is also accessible, both inclusive to the children that use it, but also accessible to the families that come to the parks. We did have our couple of tennis courts at Zot Park lined for pickleball as well. So we do have 4 pickleball courts at Zot. We also have plans in the work to replace the tennis courts over at Williams Park with pickleball courts as well. That's kind of just about everything we've got going on right now.
Okay. So I'll open up the public input. Is there anybody here or on Zoom for public input? Seeing none, I'll take a
Motion to close public input.
second motion to close the public input. All in favor? All right, passes. All right, so anybody on the commission? Jerry?
Just to let you know, Ben, personally, I think you guys are doing a great job. Now, the pickleball courts, I've been getting a lot of feedback in that, wanting to know why we don't have pickleball courts. Now you're saying we're gonna have them, what, next year or this year, or what?
So they're under design right now. We will be coming to the city shortly to request funds to replace those courts. Unfortunately, a lot of our courts are made out of asphalt, which after so many years starts to crack and break down. And at that point, they have to be completely replaced. We did have the cracks sealed at Zot Park. However, that's just going to be a temporary fix at this point. Just trying to kind of bridge the gap until we get to a point with our master plan where we can completely replace those as well. But we do have the plan. Pickleball courts are in design right now for Williams to have those replaced and have all the infrastructure put in the ground.
Can these be played in the gymnasiums at all?
They can be. We did have indoor pickleball at DuPont earlier this spring. It did have very low turnout. We've considered doing it over the winter. However, we're at a loss for space over the winter for basketball. We rely on the schools for their space, and they have their own programs going on as well. So we fill up almost every hour that we are allotted in the schools with youth basketball. But if we did have an opening where we could fit something in, we would definitely offer it over the winter.
My last question, Ben, how many spray parks do we have in the city?
We have 10.
10?
Yes,
How many are using recycled water?
only one of them.
Just one.
Just one.
Now, is it financially feasible to do this recycling of the water? It's got to be pretty expensive at the end of the day, I would say.
It does get expensive. The filter system is almost like a small pool filter. It is one of the problems we do run in with ours is that we do have problems with the filter, and at that point we have to shut down the splash pad for a few days at a time while it takes time to do those repairs. We have, with the last few splash pads we've replaced, is have the drain lines teed off in the ground so that they are set up so that in the future, if we decide to put in a recycled system at these parks, we don't have to disturb the splash pad itself. All the infrastructure comes off the pad. If we had to dig up the ground or connect to the building, it's feasible without disturbing the actual splash pad.
Thank you, Ben.
I just have a quick question about the Memorial Dog Park. I know it's a lot to handle because there's a lot more overgrowth and stuff, but how often do you actually go and kind of clean up the park and cut back shrubs that are kind of overgrowing into like the street?
So they go typically every 1 to 2 weeks.
Okay.
It is on our mowing list. I did go down there last week with our foreman, and redirect them to what needs to be done. And speaking with our planning director, we're planning to go out there sometime this fall. Because a lot of those plantings that were planted there, we need to let them establish first before we can really start to trim them back. So we'll be going down there this fall, to make sure, we're pruning them and cleaning stuff up properly and getting it ready for the winter. But I do want to note, there is a water, for lack of a better term, a drainage ditch that runs along Westover Road along that entire property. The plan for that is to not mow that and let the natural grasses and plants take hold in there, because that also helps treat or clean the water that comes into it off the road. So while you may see this wall of what looks like overgrowth along the road, that is there for a reason. And that was with the plan for the park to have that there. So that bioretention area that runs along the park and into the corner with Westover Road and Honeysuckle is meant to be that way. So
Thank you.
Okay, I just have a few questions. How's River School doing as far as, not the glass part, we all know about that, but I know for years we suffered between the pool itself and the pumping and all that stuff. How's that holding up?
it's holding up well. We had both pools repainted, resealed last year into this year. And I'm happy to report that we have very, very minimal water loss at this point. So that's been huge. The new filters, we actually had some work done with them today, repairing one of the controllers, and that has made the efficiency of that pool a lot easier to maintain. Pretty much once we kind of get it fine tuned and everything, that pool will run itself.
Nice. Great. And then, are you using the high school pools this summer?
We're not, we do use Chicopee Comp for OP when needed. I believe they went there the other day when we had storms in the morning, but we are not using the high school pools during the summer.
Okay. And then, how's youth baseball doing? Because I know a long time ago when I was on the Parks Commission, that was a concern because attendance and the desire to get into baseball was kind of falling away as things got more electronic in the world. So, do you have any programs? How are they doing?
We did have youth baseball, softball this spring. We did have close to 300 kids participate this spring. One of the things we are looking at as well is these are our leagues that we run. We do know that kids are playing elsewhere. It's not to say that they aren't playing baseball, they're not playing soccer. They're just playing elsewhere. There's so many more options now for kids, with travel teams, select teams, all of that. It's really a bit tricky for us to get a handle on where these kids are playing. And every year it continues to grow. More travel teams pop up and pick kids away here and there. So while our numbers may be trending in a negative direction, we do know that the kids are going to play elsewhere. So
At least we know they're out there. We can get them somehow.
yeah.
So you mentioned the CSO project going through Fairview Park. So what's the plan for Fairview Park after it's all done and not being torn up anymore?
So we do have plans that are, I believe, they're either at 50% design or 75% design. We're hoping to bring those to 90 to 100% design. We did submit a grant application for that park a few years ago that we did not receive. There are some issues that we need to rectify with the deed and whatnot. So once that program does come around again, we're hoping to submit as soon as possible and have plans ready to go to bring that park some well-needed upgrades. For years, it sat outside of an EJ neighborhood. However, this program that we found, the Outdoor Legacy Partnership Program. Doesn't look at EJ neighborhoods. So we're able to submit the park as a whole through it. So that's our hope for it. We're hoping to bring many amenities that will help support camp up there as well. Pavilion, updated splash pad, playground, and then updates to the fields and such.
So speaking of fields, how are the field conditions? I know you have a lot of fields to deal with in the city, so how are they looking?
They are up, down, and all over the place with the weather we've had this summer. Many of our wet fields are dry and many of our dry fields are wet. We're doing our absolute best to maintain them. We are trying to turn around Zot Park right now. The heat all summer did not help, and then having fireworks as late as we did also put added stress on that field. We tiptoe a very fine line out there between overwatering, underwatering. Overwatering will bring disease and fungus to the field, or underwatering will dry it. So we're really trying to tiptoe that line and be ready for the fall season. But we have been working with our agricultural rep, as well as we work with a company that also maintains Fenway Park. A few years ago, they did some much needed renovations out there, and we continue to bring them in 1 or 2 times a year to do some work that we don't have the equipment for, where it's kind of beyond our expertise level. So
Cool. All right, Jay.
Yeah, one more question, Ben. When Bemis Pond gets completed, is there a possibility to draft from that pond for your needs at Zot Park?
I do not believe so at this point with phase 1. I'm not sure if there'll be something down the line for phase 3 when we continue up Abbey Brook throughout the park. But it's definitely something we can consider when we go to design at that point.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate your time. And I'll call for a motion to place on file.
Motion to place on file.
Motion second to place on file. Nice. All right. And all right. I don't think we have anything else. No minutes. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
No minutes. This is the only item on the agenda. Oh, hold on. Oh, well. It wasn't on my agenda. All right, motion to accept the minutes of October 24th, 2023. Wow, and December 4th, 2019.
Motion to accept.